So Donna says that I should talk about recognizing how when I recognize my niche and also multitasking and team building. The reality is, recognizing my niche, it's very close to what Pastor Lashuri said. I actually didn't know there was a part in the Bible that broke down the years of your life and how it should be. Reality was I'm actually one of those model children that fitted into the 0 to 20 mold. I had finished university by age 20. At my 20th birthday in May, I finished university in June of that year. So I am one of those children that was able to achieve learning from 0 to 20. And, just listening to him made me realize that the things he was saying are some of the things that I have been able to learn from. But let me just bring a point out here. The first thing I want to bring out here is the fact that, one, understand your strengths and your weaknesses. It's very key. Now, when I got into SS1, you know how every child says, oh, I want to become a doctor. I want to become a doctor. And my parents are like, oh, yes, yes, you should become a doctor. So there I was. I was a full science student, entered into SS1. And my first result in biology, I just said, Mommy and Daddy, please let's talk. This medicine stuff is not going to work out. It's just not going to happen. I really desire, to be a doctor, but my strength is not in those things. It's not natural to me. My real strength was in mathematics. Honestly, I love mathematics. It was easy for me. I didn't have to read it at all. I would just understand the principles, and that was it. So I told my parents that I think let's try and, shift the, course I want to study to accountancy. My mother said, no, I told my father. My father said, okay, let's just see. So anyway, I continued on the path of sciences. But by the time I was filling my JAM form, it was very clear that I was not going to put medicine on that JAM form. So that was very clear. So the first thing I'm going to highlight here is understand your strengths and your weaknesses. It's really hard, particularly when you have multi-strengths and weaknesses and you have multi-talent. As Donna said, I bake. All through university, from my year 1 to my final year, I was a baker. In fact, they used to call me cake girl. I baked for weddings, birthdays, and I baked for, I would bake for my friends. In the whole of uni, like if you're having your birthday, I knew who had more than one girlfriend. I knew who was trying to chase one girl, because they would come and meet me, Abiola, please, can you bake a cake for so and so person and so person? Because, I was basically the registered baker for the University of Lagos. And, and in one of those ways, I was able to sort of train myself to be perseverant, to, focus on the things that were important to me, and also develop myself. So I was a baker. Now, the second point I also want to, highlight is the fact that what are the things that are important to you? As I said, what came naturally to me was mathematics. The second thing that came naturally to me was that I love to talk. I like to gist with my friends. I like to talk to people. And, when they described me as a daughter and as a sister. I'm the first child of my family. And I have brothers and sisters behind me. So naturally, I came across as a bit of a leader. So that was important to me. I like to lead people. It was inborn in me. Pastor Lashuri was talking about things that are inherent in you. It was inherent to me. I was a leader. If ever I was in the midst of people and things were not going right, I would be, I don't know how it happens. Honestly, I don't plan it. I would just find myself coordinating people, arranging things. Let's do it this way. Maybe it's going to work this way. It's just part of who I was. And I didn't really like it initially, because I felt that the world doesn't like people that are bossy. That's the negative part of being a leader. You can be bossy. But as I grew older, I realized that you could manage that skill to, change the people around you and change situations around you. So highlight what is important to you. What things do you enjoy doing? That's one of the things I want to focus on. What do you enjoy doing? Do you enjoy? So let's focus on the small things. I mean, sometimes you go far and you say, oh, I like to bake and whatever. That's far. Just focus on the things that are important. Your core innate skills. What comes naturally to you? What do you do without thinking? Are you one of the people that when someone is distressed, like when you go and meet them, they're calm instantly? That's natural to you. Are you people someone that if someone needs help, you are really available to do anything and go an extra mile? It's natural to you. What is natural to you? That is one thing, things that you need to focus on. And I think, so that's for me, I focused on that. I like to talk. I was like a leader. I was passionate. So when I got my first job, I entered the branch. It was a bank. And I was also clear because I already told you that I didn't want to be a doctor and I liked mathematics. So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to do either accounting or something related to math. So I did economics. When I finished school, I was also focused and I said to myself, where do I want to work? Do I want to be in consulting and all of that? I sort of decided, the Spirit of God is powerful. As Pastor Lashari said, when you write your vision on a tablet, Bible says, you would look at it and you will run with it. I had an idea of where I wanted to be, and God has been, my journey in my career, God has been so faithful. It is amazing. I'm so awesomely blessed. I can't even begin to recount how God has blessed me. When I put the things I wanted to do, I said I want to work in either a bank, a consulting firm, banking was one of the things that came to me. So I got a job as an NYC in a bank. And my first place that I got into was a branch in Martin Street. Who knows Martin Street? Has anybody, who knows Martin Street in Lagos Island? You know where they call Bristol Hotel? Where they said they have touts and people that do all sorts of things are. And I had a branch right smack in the heart of that in the year 2001. When I think the highest denomination was 500 or 200. I can't remember the highest denomination. So I walked into the branch and I just saw one malam on the floor. He had bills and bills of dirty 20 naira notes. I just cried. I'm like, oh my God, no. How can I leave university and I'm here? Just what am I going to do? You need like now. I went to like to all the Ashakara and I said, I want to work in a nice bank, And I got there and there was money on the floor. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe there is some silver lining in this whole story. No. I got there and they said, look at me. You're going to start counting cash. I'm like, what? So I got put into the bulk room. So I had family there, so I was saying to myself, and they were like, and I was like, I don't really like this job. And my auntie was like, do you want me to change it for you and all of that? And I just said no, don't change it. Again, where am I going to here? Sacrifice. Sacrifice. It's no longer popular in Nigeria. It's no longer what people do not want to start small and get higher. Nobody wants to sacrifice. Everybody wants to start working and get the plum job. I wanted to, but sometimes sacrifice. You need to sacrifice. So I'm going to say the third thing I'm going to tell you. Sacrifice. I hope you guys are writing it down. I'm going to do a recount. So sacrifice. So I got into the job and it was interesting. But let me tell you where my math skills came to play. I always balanced on time. I only had one shortage in my entire history of my 1 year in, as a bulk teller cashier. And my one issue was I was collecting NITEL bills. They used to pay NITEL bills. We only had NITEL then. And some person paid me less by 50 naira. So I told my boss, I know what happened. 50 naira was short. It was because this person paid me less 50 naira. So I never had an issue. I was always, the bank closes at 4 o'clock. By 4:30, my money was counted, properly arranged. My edges were neat. I used to make sure that my monies were stacked in the bag, and I would drag it because we used to drag it down. You see me in my nice skirts, and I'll be dragging the money down all some dirty stairway into one vault under one place. Oh my goodness, just thinking about it now. The memories it brings to me. Oh wow. And I would drag my bags of money, and then the monies were a lot. 1 million naira would be like, huge. It wasn't that 1 million naira can be like 5 or 10 packets. Then it was like massive, and I would drag my money down. That was sacrifice. 1 year, I had a choice. I could have opted not to do that job, but I did it. But my math skills came to play. Now, the second job I then got was, Standard Trust Bank. Now, I'm taking you through my career. I'm bringing out the salient lessons I want us to pick out from this. So I joined the company. Initially, everybody was saying, this new bank, Standard Trust Bank, oh my goodness, the man is a cowboy, Tony Elumelu. By the way, an amazing visionary. I'm going to share with you a story about Tony, an amazing, amazing visionary man. Do I want to go and work for him? This bank will collapse, he will die, and all of that. I'm going to say the fourth thing I would say is take a risk. Sometimes unpopular, but take a risk. Now, in taking a risk, ask God to lead you in taking that risk. Now, I did ask God, but, I said, well, I think God said, maybe I shouldn't really go. I'm like, yeah, but God, I really want to go. But God was with me and I still went ahead with the job. But take a risk sometimes. And in spite of it, as a child of God, He will always be with you. He would lead you always to that path which He wants you to get to. So I took the job and we'd done the training and all of that. And, I was going to be posted as a customer service officer. So I got there and one of the directors there, an ED, looked at me and just said at that point, who wants to put this girl in customer service? You are in marketing. I'm like, what? Oh no, I don't want to be in marketing in a new bank. You know how the banking system is. You're putting marketing, you're chasing deposits all over the whole place, you're running up and down. I'm like, this is not, I wanted to be safe. I wanted to be safe. And sometimes, even in our lives, even with Christ, we want to be safe, right? Any witnesses to wanting to be safe? You don't want to leave your comfort zone. You don't want to move from point A to point B. I wanted to be safe. And customer service was, guess what? Safe. I didn't have to try. I would just sit down. Customers would walk to me and I would say I've made target or whatever. I wanted to be safe. But God didn't want me to be safe. He put me in marketing, put me, in a branch in VI. Oh my goodness. I don't want to even go to that story. But anyway, I found my way. They needed someone in a branch in Festac Town. And I found my way to a branch in Festac Town. And it was amazing. I mean, whatever I am today, in terms of my skills, talking to people, meeting people, opening up doors, knocking at doors, approaching people, it was from that job. If you remember Festac in those days, there was only one bank, Cooperative Bank. There was no New Generation Bank there at all. It was Cooperative and another, I think Union Bank or something like that. One of those two was an old banks. So it was Standard Trust was the first modern bank to come there. And the story about Standard Trust I've already told you. We're known to be cowboys. So that's not a good bank to want to fight against an old generation bank. But there we were, new generation cowboys with old generation. So we had to go marketing. And first stack, old money, new money, And because it's a residential area, when are you going to find the people that are going to be at home? On the weekend, right? They won't be at home during the week because they've gone out working. So on the weekend. And so we would set out on Saturdays and knock on doors. Have you tried to knock on somebody's door with a big gate? Some hard stuff. Oh. Sorry, who are you? Who do you want to see? I want to see Oga and Madam. Who? I don't know their name, but so what are you doing here? This is the gate man. And you have to try to get that door open. A door that is, gated, dogs maybe barking. If you're lucky, and God was always with us, as we went along, we had good and bad times, but you'll find one gate man that will just go and call Madam. Somebody just wants to see you, Madam. And we were cold calling people. And doors were opening, and we were talking. So imagine that. And how old was I then? I think I was all of like 22, just knocking on doors and cold calling people. How was I able to do that? The confidence, that was what that job gave me. Confidence to knock and cold call and knock on doors. Not to be afraid. People are so afraid to try to develop their talent. They would risk, dying with their talent because they're afraid to knock on doors. What's the worst that can happen to you? No. No doesn't, like IBK said, sticks and stones may break your bones. But at the end of the day, guess what? Get up and go. So no doesn't kill you. Just say, well, that guy said no, let me just try the next one. The next one may just, And honestly, within 6 months of that branch, we had broken even. We were the fastest growing branch in the bank. We had broken even. We were the most profitable in the whole of Lagos within 1 year. It was that amazing. It was so bad that the queues, when people wanted to come and take their money in Festac, if you lived in Festac then, they were so upset with us because they used to queue to the gates. Because they didn't know, we didn't know in Standard Trust Bank that it was going to be so accepted. But it was that accepted. So that is lesson number 2. Lesson number 4, I think I said. So, don't be afraid to change where you are to go to where you need to get to. The other part is, develop yourself. Knock on the doors. Even if someone says no, knock. The next person may just be the yes that you want. So don't stop knocking. Then, in Standard Trust Bank, you remember I told you that God said I shouldn't really go. and I said I was going to go anyway. So on one rainy day on a Sunday, I remember I didn't go to church. They called us for an emergency meeting in Standard Trust Bank, and they said we should come over to the bank and all of that. So I got to my bank, and they said, well, they're trying to re-engineer and all the nice, funny English that they speak. Essentially, I was laid off. Now, not just me, by the way. I'm sharing this story with you to let you understand that I have had ups, and I've also had downs, and I've also had ups, and I've had downs. So I was laid off, and it wasn't just me. We're quite a lot. Now, when I got home, obviously I was devastated. I was distraught. I was sad. I was, everything that anybody can imagine. I had been a part of this fantastic branch, remember? We had been successful, remember? We had made money, what could have been the thing? But we were plenty. So it wasn't just especially to me, but we're quite a lot. So imagine what that does to a 23, 24-odd-year-old person then, who you thought, you're just flying high, got one promotion, you're hoping to jump to another promotion and all of that. But ultimately, I was laid off. Now, I was devastated. But you see, it's good to have, next I'm going to go to people, your mother and your father. Honestly, do not, you can't even overemphasize that. My mother said she prayed that when I got home because I was so upset. And she said, God, in a month's time, my daughter must not be at home. When you have people who are praying for you, that's another thing on your journey to success. People who are supportive of you, praying for you, that are going to be there for you when you feel you can't go on, when you feel that you don't have the strength to move on. Have them around you, right? It's very important. So anyway, I got another job a month after. Then I was working there for about 9 months. Then the banking merger happened. Then after all of that, then I moved to Access Bank. That was also another interesting story. We're not going to go there. That was one, Donna is smiling because she has told her the story. Let me just put the story to you in one way. It's simple, one sentence. You know when you watch Oprah, and you see all those Igbo women come and say, I was traumatized. And you're like, Kilo Shile. You don't have Nigeria passion. Where's the Nigeria sense? I was traumatized. I will not lie to you. But I went to the Word of God. Honestly, I went to the Word of God. I understood the Word. I have never prayed in my life so hard. I was praying. The Bible says I will not be disgraced. I will be the first, and I will be the head, and I will not be the tail. My land has no longer been called forsaken. Is now sought out. I'm Hephzibah and Abiola. I learned those words. I understood. The Bible says He has my name etched on the palm of His hand. Can I get a witness? Anybody up in here? That is, I went to the Word of God, people. I just said, God, I need to leave this place. What? I need to leave. And the Bible said, and God said to me one thing, Biola, if you're faithful in this job, you'll be faithful in any job. So I was very faithful because I got to go. I was very, very faithful. I used to get to work. I used to work at 7:30, leave at 11. I didn't have a car. I'll be on trying to get a cab home. I will get to Unilag. The Unilag didn't allow cabs to enter. I will walk from my gates to my house at 11 midnight. Trust me, I was very faithful. I got to go. Now, so I'm going to summarize because I think I don't have much time. But I got into my job in CSL. CSL is a stockbroking firm. All this while, by the way, I had other journeys. I was doing exams. You see, have friends that support your dream and your vision. Have friends that are going. You see, it's not all about wearing jeans and clothes and carrying designer bag. These people nowadays, I don't understand what's going on. Listen, I carry designer bag, but people, it took me time to get to where I got to. But it is too early. Let's have good friends. Friends that are worrying about doing exams together. Where do you want to be? Where do you see your future? Valuable friendships. Please, don't waste your time. Anybody going to waste your time, just please, can I go? Valuable friendships. Meaningful conversations. So anyway, I had this friend who was doing CIS exams, stockbroking professional exams. And I said, I'm going to do this exam. I don't care. I was doing ICANN. By the way, when I was in year 2 of University of Lagos, I was doing ICANN already. So again, you see multitasking. So I was doing ICANN, I was doing cake, I was in University of Lagos. All of those things. Okay, because we have capacity to do. The Bible, the parable in the Bible says you have 10 talents. God gave out 10 talents to people. Some people went and buried it. Some people went and What have you done with talents that God has given you? God gave me. I haven't done enough. Donna knows. I cry every day. Donna, I'm. There's a wonder in me. It has to come out. The world hasn't seen what I'm made of yet. I have a long way to go. Pastor, I'm still living. I'm still trying to get to my destination. I haven't reached where I'm going to. I'm on a journey. I'm behind. And so I did my stockbroking exams and I passed, and then I said, look, I'm looking for work now. And honestly, I got 3 job offers. 3, my boss was frustrating me, and on that day, I got 3 job offers. I got from GTB, I got from another company, and I got from CSL. So I went to CSL stockbroking. My boss, when I look at him, I always ask, why did you employ me? Because I had no stockbroking experience whatsoever. None. I only passed my exams. But he saw in me, again, remember what I said, I'm a leader, right? He saw in me leadership. He saw in me someone that can talk to people. He saw in me a go-getter. Those things that I didn't understand, he saw it in me, and he made me the head of the department in less than 6 months, because the person that was going to be there was traveling abroad. This was in 2006, when the stock market was booming and was turning around. So I was in the middle of all of that. So there I was on that job. After I was there for like 4 years, I didn't get promoted once. I said, God. I went to my boss one day. See, another thing again, appraise yourself. Appraise yourself. Always, don't be afraid. Stare at yourself and say, what am I doing well or not doing well? And I said, am I that bad? Am I that bad? I must be doing something right. I've made X amount. I must be doing something right. I said, okay, I've been here for 3.5 years. You didn't promote me once. Why? What's going on? I want a car. I want to change my car. I didn't want a car there. After I managed to buy one car, I want to change my car, My boss said, if I buy you a car, what not, I went to story. Anyway, promoted me, but I was still dissatisfied. And the Spirit of God knew I was dissatisfied. I said that about the journey of my life. God has been so involved. The Spirit of God knew I was dissatisfied. So I was in my office one day, but I was prepared. Now, please be prepared. Be what? Be what? I knew I was what? Dissatisfied. I knew I had to go, right? I needed to do what? Prepare myself. Guess what I did? I went and sat down we had all these, new, I call them foreign people that just came. When all these Oyinbo people came to Nigeria, Nigerian Oyimbos, when they came to come and get jobs in Nigeria, and then they were now paying them ×3 what they were paying us, who have been sweating to do the work. Who understands that phenomenon, please? You know the market better, but they have come. I don't beef them. If I had a brother, I say, bros, come. I package you well. They give you the job. You share me the profits. But I didn't have anybody, unfortunately. So anyway, long and short of it, I met them. I said, look, you guys have worked internationally. You know what they want internationally. Can you help me with my CV? I packaged my CV. Honestly, I was impressed. Even I was like, I didn't know I'd achieve all these things. So package the CV very well. Anyway, I got a call one day. One guy said, so from England. Yeah. Just want to, can you send me your CV? I'm like, from where? I'm like, 419 Nigeria people, all these people. So anyway, send me your CV. I sent my CV. Lo and behold, there was a company in Nigeria, Renaissance. They were looking to hire someone. So anyway, I got there. And I was thinking of a salary in my head. You think of a salary in your head? I had a salary in my head I was thinking of. Anyway, when I saw the salary they were offering me, I said, it's okay. It's very okay, I'm all right. So he said, is this small? I'm saying, people, when God uplifts you, honestly, I will not lie to you, it was ×2 of what I was earning. When God takes you from point A to point B, the Bible says no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mouth can perceive what God has in store for you. It is just the beginning. It was, honestly, I was transported. I will not lie to you, Master. God transported me totally. I said, it's okay. I said, I will sign. In fact, something like, I'm not even going to pray safe about whether to go or not. But I prayed, obviously. I did pray. And God said, yes, that's where he wants me to go to. But listen, in that job, forget about, I'm just giving you the sweet part. I learned a lot. I was working with people that had worked internationally, the likes of Citibank, Merrill Lynch, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, and I learned, I was just a sponge of knowledge. I was just grabbing. Anything they took to reach me, I'll grab. But again, like I told you, I am restless. The Spirit of God just kept, there must be more. I must do more. I can't. I'm like, God, I'm like, God, I must do more. So while I think I had met Donna at that point. I was thinking, Donna, I must do more. There must be more. So I was getting restless in my spirit. Besides something about the Spirit of God, it makes you restless. Because He needs to take you to somewhere. And you need to recognize it when He comes to you. So I got a call one day. Call said, can we see you so and so? And so I went there. And they said, want to become managing director of our company. I'm like, managing director, I'm far. In my mind, I'm like, I'm too far from this role. This role is not for me. And I think I don't remember because I was shaking. I'm not ready for this. This is too much for me. I was shaking. I'm like, this is not possible. I'm not sure. God, this is not happening. God likes to re-emphasize His words. Another person called me again. I want to become the MD of my company. I'm like, I'm like, God, really? Like, really? Is it time for this? So if I had any doubt where God was taking me to, I had no choice because two people had called me who didn't know each other. So anyway, long and short of it, I took one of the roles. Now, let me tell you where I'm going to also in this role. Now, this role I'm in, it may not look like, I am enjoying what I do. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I have learned to understand how to work with people better, how to manage people, manage teams, how to understand that the success that you get in your life is determined by how well you treat people, not by how well I am good at it. No matter how good I am, if people around me are not good, I can't be successful. So it taught me how to do that and how to make sure that I am caring enough about the people's growth, well-being, and welfare, so that together we can all drive to the where we need to get to. But ultimately, it's so far. I'm going to be 1 year by May 5. It's been a fantastic journey, but it's not been easy. And again, in terms of financially rewarding, it may not have been the most financially rewarding job I will ever have. Looking at my past, but the reality is that I know where I'm going to. I know where my future is going to. I know what I need to do to get to those places. I know that this is not the end, this is just the beginning. I have so much I need to do. Nobody knows my name. I'm not yet on the Forbes list. I need to be there. And not because, by the way, not for the money. But because, there's a word in the Bible says, can any good thing come out of Israel? I am the good thing. I am that good thing. I am going to come out of Nigeria and be great. And all of you, by the way, please speak it to yourself. I am. Can you please say it? I am the good thing. Yeah. You will be great. I look at the people that are singing the passion. You all will be great. We can all be. Nigeria can take enough great people. We are fantastic people. Don't ever doubt yourself. The world has not seen what you have in store. It is just the beginning, people. Please don't doubt yourself at all. So all I want you to say, to summarize, just to say here, remember all the things I have said to you. Have a vision for your life. Put it on a board. Put it in your room. Whatever you want. Do you want a car? Whatever. It happens. I put a Jeep on my car, on my wall. I got a Jeep, by the way. So I'm telling you, it happens. I put many things and I got it. Put what you want in your life on your board. It will happen. It can happen. You can achieve it. Get up and go. Be all you truly are in Christ. If the non-Christians can be successful, what is your reason for not being successful? What is your reason? You have no reason because you have what? You have the man up there. Thank you very much.